So
like it.
all sorts of questions for Dr. Olivia Lev, if you would like. But why don't you just start by telling our listeners a little bit about you, where you're from, and all that good stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm Dr. Olivia Healey. I grew up in East Troy, Wisconsin, so just about 30 minutes away from where we're doing this now. I got an early start into chiropractic when I was 14 years old, and we can get into kind of how that changed the trajectory of my entire life, because it's my start to it is the reason why I practice the way I do today. But I got a pretty early start into what I wanted to do, so I set my track of going to the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, got my undergrad in kinesiology, and then moved on to grad school at Life University in Marietta, Georgia. Did 4 years, 3.5 there. I graduated a little early. And then moved to Orlando, Florida, just outside of Orlando, a nice town called Winter Garden. Did a couple of years of practice there, and then moved back home here. And wanted to establish some roots for some very good reasons. So
Obviously, we know what kinesiology is, but for our listeners who might not be familiar,
yeah, absolutely.
What is it?
Absolutely. Kinesiology is the study or the science of human body movement. So taking deep dives into biomechanics and exercise physiology and nutrition. There's different avenues of what you can do with that. You can, if you major in kinesiology, a lot of people can go on to be like sports physiologists, or like you don't have to be a chiropractor with it. PTs can sometimes do it too.
Sure.
So it's a really broad major.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, go back to when you were 14. How did you get started at such a young age?
Yeah, absolutely. I was in track and soccer at the same time, and I would go back and forth to practices, and I mean, East Troy, not a very big place.
Because that's the same season.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's
East Troy, home of the
Trojans.
Okay.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Go Trojans.
Go Trojans. But I've always been super competitive. But when I was going back and forth, I was rather quick. So I was the anchor leg, and at the time when I was that age, to me that just meant everything. I thought I was like on top of the world because I had the fastest time on a team, and I was the youngest girl.
Yeah.
And so then we were set to go to state. Well, I woke up one morning, and I was one of the only freshmen going to state that year. I woke up and I couldn't get out of bed, and then I had never had like pain like that in my life. It was so bad. I just had such bad spasming in my low back. So I started stretching. My mom took me to a local chiro. I will not say where or who, but they adjusted me and they just focused on my low back, and it made it actually so much worse that I literally couldn't get out of bed the next day to even go to school. I couldn't stretch it out. I was freaking out. She took me to a different chiropractor in a neighboring town. And again, it just didn't help. If anything, it made it worse. I don't really remember there being any benefit to it, but I do remember telling my mom to never take me to a chiropractor again.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then in true Diane Healey fashion, God bless her, because she's amazing, this is a little bit of a rewind on her life. When she was in her 20s, she was suffering acute seizures from being pushed against a wall. So she knocked right here, which right below the base of the ear on the side of the neck, on the corner of a wall. And she would have these panic, dropout, blackout episodes. I don't even know what to describe them. She doesn't know how to describe them. She went to a couple of different neurologists. I was out in California. She moved back home, had an episode in front of my now dad, and he took her to a local neuro who referred her to an upper cervical chiropractor, and after 2 adjustments, she never had a seizure again. She didn't necessarily know, how that man helped her. She just remembered that story. So now fast forward back to me now being 14, and she didn't know who to turn to, but she found his old business card because she forgot where he worked, forgot what his name was, brought me to him, and after one adjustment, I felt nothing in the moment. I thought he was crazy because he was adjusting my neck and I had low back pain. I was like, this guy doesn't know what he's doing.
Like, it hurts right here,
Exactly.
not up there.
I'm like, these chiropractors.
14-year-old.
Right.
Goodness gracious. Yeah, exactly.
Why is at
Exactly.
the young age
Yeah.
of 14?
Exactly. And then the next morning I woke up and my low back pain was completely gone. I actually didn't even realize I didn't have pain. Remember standing. I used to have cereal every morning.
What kind?
It was either like Lucky Charms, Fruit Loops, or Apple Jacks.
Yeah,
That's my go-to.
Apple
Yes.
Jack's
Yeah.
classic.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I don't do cereals anymore, and there's many reasons for that too.
Well, maybe with coconut milk, you might.
It's not so make it
Okay.
That's not making it.
All right. Sorry.
But coconut milk, yes. And so, I was pouring my cereal, waiting for the bus to come. My mom came out, and she just stood in the kitchen and was looking at me, and she's like, "Are you okay?" And I just turned around and was like, "Yeah." And I was kind of like annoyed by her asking, so I was in a rush and dramatic. And then
14.
She 14's a hard year. And then she was like, how are you feeling? And then that's when it clicked for me. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't have any pain. And I was able to go to track that night, and we ended up going to state that year. Didn't place, but I still got to experience that at a young age, and that was, to me, everything. And so now I am an upper cervical chiropractor for that very reason.
And so
That's
you distinct, like, that changed the trajectory not only of your, obviously still being able to perform in sports, but in your mind, you were that impacted at such a young age that you thought you wanted to pursue it? Mm-hmm. Really?
Yeah. So I went, after that first adjustment, I went back. I think, I don't know if it was the same week, maybe it was the following week. But when I went back, I looked at him and I shook his hand, gave him a hug. I was so grateful, and my mom was so grateful, but I was like, I don't know what you did, but I want to do it for the rest of my life. And so that was, I moved to Atlanta, Georgia, because that's where he went to school. And he was very much like, you need to go where you need to go. And I was like, no, I need to go where you went. And I don't care where that is. That's where I'm going. And
do you still have a relationship with him?
I do. I just got lunch at the Artisan with him like 2-3 months ago, and I've referred actually a couple of patients his way because they were closer to him, and I've actually gotten a couple of referrals from him as well. So we have a very good, healthy, professional as well as personal relationship.
Oh, that's fantastic.
That's amazing.
He wanted me to come work for him.
I was going to say, so how big is your practice and how long have you been in business?
So I have been in business now almost 2 years. It'll be 2 years in September. It is me. I just hired my first associate chiropractor 6 months ago. Actually, we were just talking about that yesterday. He's been with us for 6 months. Time flies.
Yeah.
And I have 2 full-time chiropractic assistant employees and 1 part-time kind of fill-in. Mm-hmm. So we're rapidly growing.
And it is Perfect Touch Chiropractic here in Heartland.
Yep. Right in the Walnut Ridge Office Park.
Yeah.
Around the corner.
Yeah. So real cool. Anybody in the Lake Country area, it's within 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. Just starting a business. Just talk about your process in was there fears? Is it something that you knew that I was going to not only be a chiropractor, but I wanted to be a self-employed chiropractor? Was that when did that idea kind of birth in you, or was it
about 2 years ago?
2 years ago. Okay. So I was expecting, when I was 15.
No. I actually said I would never open up my own business. I hated.
Never.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I said never a lot when I was younger. I've learned my lesson.
Did you?
Yeah. But no, I hated every idea of business that you could imagine. Even this, like in undergrad and in grad school, whenever they'd talk about business, my eyes would gloss over and I'd have a hard time not falling asleep because I just, not only did I not enjoy it, I also never put any mental effort into it because I genuinely believed I would always just work for somebody and have all that stuff taken care of. And then I got my first job down in Florida, my previous employer, we have a wonderful relationship. We actually talk, if not daily, weekly. We have phone call catch-ups. I'm getting married next year. He's invited to the wedding. Like that relationship is amazing, but he actually helped me foster the confidence to know that I could open. And I learned a lot from working with him. So his practice down in Florida is one of the biggest personal injury practices in the entire state. So I saw like a very high level of severe complex post motor vehicle accident collision, like just like things that instead of people going to the hospital, they would come to us first. So the caliber of which I was working at really, clinically, I gained my confidence, but then learning his systems and his procedures and having the relationship I had with him, he taught me everything, all of his hard lessons. Like, he was not someone that held back in sharing, and he helped me a lot in my beginning days when I finally decided I need to move home and be closer to my family. So
interesting.
Here I am.
Yeah. So in the lines of running your own business, you've been at it now 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So how, in the 2 years, what has changed from your expectations, or what did you think it would be, and then what are some of the maybe good things and challenging things that you've learned as you go?
I obviously, when I was an associate, I was making a set income, and I felt like I was more valuable than that, and I wanted to be able to be flexible with my schedule, and I wanted all the freedom of being a business owner, and I really thought that it was all freedom. And it's not.
You work a lot.
And then, so I just kind of catapulted myself into a position, and like I built the practice to grow very fast. So I built outside of myself, and I said, because a lot of people said, start small overhead, start with a small little door or room, like don't go big. And I was like, no, because my goals, I will reach them, and I will reach them now. And that's exactly what happened, just because I had that vision. But I think now, in hindsight, I definitely didn't expect all of the responsibility of having employees, and that's why I got another associate chiropractor so quickly, because when I'm sick, then nobody works, and then like having that fall on my shoulders, and then not having a place for my patients to be able to see someone if they are in a crisis, but I'm also in a crisis too.
And you're in a tricky position because you physically need to be there.
Yep.
It's your hands doing the work. So.
Yeah, it was, I think my first hardest lesson was, it was the January after I opened, I got super sick for like a week straight. I couldn't even, it was stress and everything, but beyond that, I don't even remember what was going around. And I remember going back to work early. I think I had gotten sick on like Saturday, and it was the following Wednesday, and I was maybe like 25% functioning, but I had these patients that were getting so angry that I kept canceling my days. And I was like, one, do you want whatever I have? Because if you do, then sure, I'll give it to you. Like, I've got plenty of it. But then I went back, and just like that level of exhaustion, I felt that next night. And then like, I kind of like went into this like ball of, what did I get myself into? Mm-hmm. Because now I have a 7-year lease.
We call it standing in the pond.
I
tell her, I'll just be in the pond.
Yeah, seriously. That's what it felt like. I mean, I felt like there was no one I could talk to. I felt like it was just, I don't know. I mean, I'm glad
the weight of it all.
I'm glad I've gotten past that. But
that
didn't hit till about 3 months. After opening.
Yeah, 3 months into it. Mm-hmm. And you were, what am I doing? And then, so how do you get out of it?
Yeah, I think it's, like I said, I reworked in my head what success means. And a lot of what I wanted in the beginning was just, I wanted, as everybody does, they want to be successful financially.
Yeah.
But in my position, I'm like, how do I balance being successful financially, still being able to help patients, and as many patients as I possibly can within my means. We had a saying in school, to do, to give, to love, to serve, out of an abundance of one's own capability. And so what is my capability? And then, having people not being able to schedule them, and then like their family members getting mad at me because I'm too busy. And so I rewrote what that looks like. And yeah, it's a little bit less financially right now. It's an investment in myself, hiring early as I did, but I've
an investment in the future of the business too. Yeah.
I can be sick now.
Yeah,
and
that's
still if it's an
reassuring.
emergency, there's someone that they can go to. And so it's
It sounds like it's a longer path to success when you're self-employed.
Yes.
And I think it's no get-rich-quick scheme. Typically, anybody who's self-employed, it's going to be probably a grind. Depends on
Labor
the...
of love, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
yes. I had a lot of chiros, like, even when I was opening and before I opened, like, they kept telling me, don't expect to pay yourself for the first 2 years. And to that, I highly disagree, because I was paying myself the first month.
Yeah.
I was profitable, and I had a huge overhead, and I had a huge space, and I had an employee from the first day. I asked my best friend to help me out day one, and then she stayed with me ever since. Now she's my office manager.
Yeah.
Great energy. She's great energy, yes. But I had to pay her, and at first I didn't know how I was going to pay her, but I still was profitable. So to those people who are told that they can't do it, you certainly can, even in an industry as tricky as chiropractic.
So are you a numbers... Well, you've kind of said it initially, not really, but do you look at numbers? Do you like numbers? Do you just kind of remove emotion and look at spreadsheet stuff?
Now I do.
Yeah.
Now it's fun.
Me too, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not naturally a numbers guy, but over the years, it's like I do love numbers.
Yeah.
And value math
Yes.
much more than I used to.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's actually at lunch yesterday, I was having a conversation with my associate, and he was like, I don't ever want to be like a burden to you financially. And I was like, one, you don't have to worry about my finances. Like, that is what you shouldn't be worrying about as an associate. Two, thank you for saying that, because that shows that you do care beyond like just getting a paycheck, and you do value our relationship personally just as much as I did my previous employer. It's a positive relationship, but also it's like you could never be a burden to me, because if you were, I mean, you wouldn't be here. One, right? I would
be able to hire
that
you.
conversation.
Yeah.
But two, it's like the burden financially, and I like to look at numbers. I like to see what is Perfect Touch making, what is Olivia making, what is everybody else making, and I have a model set up where if he's winning, we're all winning. If I'm winning, we're all winning. It's very much a mutually beneficial relationship.
Yeah.
So it's so interesting as you grow through it.
Yeah. So it's before we get back into the care, because we will move into chiropractic care a little bit. Still on the business side of things. Just I've known you now for 3-4 months, and so of course. You get into our algorithms, right? So, and I've just noticed and wanted to talk a little bit about what you do from a marketing standpoint. Is it mostly word of mouth? I do see a lot of creative, high energy things coming out on social media, which matches just the overall atmosphere when you walk into your office. Very, very high energy, great energy. So what do you do for marketing?
I started before I opened, I did a lot of external events. So like tomorrow, I still do external events because they're always the biggest pushes for us. But setting up a table at a farmer's market, I always like to say I like to be where people don't expect me to be. So I've done a lot of craft shows and like just things where you wouldn't expect a chiropractic table pop up, and then there's me. Surprise!
Do you bring your equipment and do like little
quick adjustments?
No, the insurance on it.
I suppose it's probably too high. Yeah.
It's
lawyers got in the way of that idea.
Right. It's more so just being able to show someone that you are a nice face and that you'll listen to their complaints, and you just give them a little bit and you answer some questions, but not all of the questions, because those questions are your time and your time is valuable. So you elicit a little bit of interest there, and then just turn the script and get them on the schedule, and then the rest is taken care of from there in a proper official way.
Sure.
Outside of that, 3 months in, because because winter is the worst months for a lot of people, but especially for chiropractors nationwide, it is just known that nobody really likes to go out and do
Why
that
would
kind
that
of
be?
stuff. I mean, I wish I had a better explanation, because you would think that when
You'd have
most,
downtime.
even seasonal depression is very real.
Yeah.
Like getting adjusted makes you happier. Why wouldn't you want to go to a chiropractor? It's a trend, and unfortunately that's now hit me
I
hard.
would never know.
Every single winter.
Predicted that. Huh.
But it really hit me the first winter when I wasn't doing paid ads on Facebook, Instagram, as well as Google. And then I met with a company, and they were very expensive and way too expensive for what I was making at the time. But I said yes, because I am a yes person, and I saw it as a investment in myself, and it paid off tenfold. I mean, I was then able to hire an associate by November, and in January I was hardly paying myself, but I was still doing it. So fast forward to now, I still do paid Facebook, Google, and Instagram ads. All I do is take the videos, and then I just shoot it over to the company, and they do all the rest from there, and then bookings get brought to us.
Excellent.
And that's a pretty lucrative one. Facebook and Instagram not so much, but Google absolutely.
If you're slow in the winter, I might be able to put you in a plow truck if I started.
Perfect.
plowing.
Perfect.
A couple extra bucks in your pocket.
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't trust me in a plow truck.
It's another way you guys are alike.
Yeah, I don't trust you in a truck.
There's a reason why her vehicle doesn't have any Big Fish logos on it.
I understand.
I'm okay with that. I know my truth.
Yep. I understand.
Well, that's fascinating. So, as far as your care goes, obviously, I would think that I want to talk specifically about the care that you provide and what you do at Perfect Touch versus maybe what you might find out there with other chiropractors. And then also, this is a little... Do you find yourself as much of a therapist as a chiropractor throughout the course of your days? Just listening to people and...
Yeah, so...
Because the mental and physical side are so related, right? Typically, if a human's experiencing pain, their psyche is also affected.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, there's a lot. All three of those things are pretty deep. I'll get the easy one out of the way. So upper cervical is my specialty within the chiropractic realm. Upper cervical chiropractic is very powerful because we are upright beings, right? Gravity's pushing down on our head. If our first bone is off, which is one of the most freely movable bones in your entire body, especially in your spine, and it causes your eyes to be unlevel, well, a thing called the righting reflex says we got to make these things level. And if I can't do it in my neck, how else can I do it in my body? And that's how a neck adjustment was able to help my low back. And that's where, we do a lot of patient education when people come in and they're like, I have sciatica. I went to a chiropractor. It didn't help. I'm like, that's actually why I got my start to the profession, so I want you to hear me out. And so I can connect in that way with a little bit of a more unique population. But I am one of the few offices in the state of Wisconsin, one of the few offices in the entire United States that practices it. They say that less than 2% of the profession utilizes an upper cervical technique. So we get draw outside of that. There's upper cervical websites specifically where I'm listed. And I know there's one website, I'm one of 3 offices that's actually listed. And we get a lot of pull from that, 5-6 new patients a month.
And are those patients that have been other places and still not getting relief?
Mostly, yes. We get upper cervical draws the people who have tried, opioids, NSAIDs, they've done PT, they've done rounds of OT, they've done, prism lenses for their eyes. If they're experiencing dizziness, they've gone to ENTs because they have so much vertigo, and then they end up here, and then they're like, what? How else could you even try to help me? I've done everything. And I'm like, there's one thing you haven't tried. Yeah, and I love it. That's my favorite.
Oh, yeah, that's going to
actually.
be so satisfying.
Yeah, I actually like
you're
it.
like a superhero.
Yes.
I love it when they've
You
tried
are.
everything else. It makes me sad because they spend a lot of money, and I
time
wish
and
I could have helped them earlier, but it's also...
But here we are.
Yeah, I'm like, let me be your last resort. Absolutely, let's do it. But so that's kind of what makes us a little bit different. But when you're looking at I'm sorry, what was your next 2 questions? Now I'm having a brain fart.
Well, the services you provide as opposed to your traditional chiropractor, which I think you did address.
Yeah.
They're working on different parts of the spine generally, right?
Yeah.
And then the other one was just how.
Are you a therapist?
Exactly, and I would imagine I've never been to med school, but I would imagine that there's probably a lot of teaching in that space of therapy and maybe and just the mental health, maybe even spiritual, and how that might be connected to what you do.
Yes. So I just saw a video this morning, so it's really funny that you bring this up, and it was, instead of looking at it as a negative, we have to listen to all these problems and these patients that cry and they tell us their life story and we get backed into a corner, and there's a lot of chiropractors that complain about that. I, on the other hand, see it as like the utmost honor to be able to experience life with someone and to be able to allow them to express that level of vulnerability with me. And like, we had a new patient yesterday. On her way in, she was running a little bit late. She called us. She was on the phone crying because she was so desperate to come in. And then she got into that new patient appointment, and it was with my associate, and he was like, she bawled. And like, that's why it took him a little bit longer, and he came out and he was like, wow. And it was
powerful.
It was emotionally it took a toll on him, but I'm like,
I know,
right? But I'm like, you should be so happy that she felt that comfortable in an hour and a half of her life with you, that she told you things that, and he kind of like quoted her. He was like, these are things I can't tell to anybody else. I don't have someone to tell them to. And I'm like, you just did this woman a service, whether she even signs up or not. Like, you allowed that. So to me, that's always a blessing. And I always joke with patients when they start crying, I'm like, don't cry, I'll cry with you. Sometimes I do, and sometimes we just sit there and hug. I had like a 10-minute long hugging session with one of my patients the other day, and it's, to them, sometimes it's for the good, and sometimes it's because they're going through a flare-up and they're frustrated, and that's okay. You gotta hold that space and just try to help them both mentally and physically get through that. And to me, that's the most beautiful part of what I do.
Yeah.
It's fun to me. So, yeah.
You do sound, I have very minimal experience with chiropractic care. In fact, I've been once. So I can't really compare you to anything, but I can just tell you're so unique and you have a really genuine, authentic energy, and I'm sure that's why you're so successful.
I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah.
I, on the other hand, have been to numerous chiropractors, and I can't necessarily say anything negative about, I can, and I will, about the price of some of the other chiropractors have been far more expensive than what you're charging, and you can edit this out if you need to. But, I find your pricing is reasonable, but your care is much different too. Yeah. I've never heard the things or seen what you're doing there, and then the result has been phenomenal. So it's not a quick fix overnight when you have back issues. But consistency and a strategy over some time. Yeah. My back has never felt this good over the last 5 years. So, and then beyond that, though, I can just tell you have a really good business. I can just, you walk in, I pay attention to that stuff. I love small business. I'm excited about that for you as I am about the chiropractic work for me. I just love celebrating small business owners, local, and partnering. And so it's the minute I walked in, you could just tell, like, you guys just have a really good thing going there. It's been fun to be a part of, and then to just get an opportunity to hear you talk, share your heart a little bit more. All these dots connect. Oh yeah, that makes sense. So congratulations.
Appreciate that.
And just much prayers for success and continued growth for you. So what are some, before we kind of end, like, do you have some larger goals that you're looking, like, slowly working towards?
So I think a large part of my future goals all revolve around family. And I mean, that being a woman business owner is its own beast in itself. And I grew up with a mom that she had a lot of time to spend with me. She had the availability to take me to all of these appointments that ended up changing my life. She was always at my soccer games. She was always at my practices. Anything I wanted to do, she was also a yes woman. I tried literally every sport that you can imagine. I mean, I was the kicker for my high school football team. Like, it was awesome. Anything that I wanted to do, I did, right? But that's also because my parents allowed me to have that space and that time and gave a large part of their life to that too. And so, like, when I look into my future, that's what I want. So I am in a journey to continually try to set myself up to have more space. And you know, if that means a little bit less income for me for a little while, I value my time and my family more than anything. And so, and my future family, and the idea of getting married next year, and then like hopefully soon after trying to start a family in that way, it's like, it's right around the door and it's knocking. So future, I would love the team to just keep growing and being able to sustain the high level of care and results that we're still getting. And then, I adjust a couple less people a week, but that's okay, because then it's sustainability for me going forward. And then I get to have a win-win situation. That's my goal.
I think you're right on track.
Thank you. That's great goals. So how do you ever go to a chiropractor?
Yeah, absolutely. So that is the best perk of hiring another chiropractor, is they become your chiropractor, and you can train them to be so wonderful. Now, so Dr. Joel, my associate, he came from another office. He graduated around the same time as me, and so he came with his own kind of level of expertise too in adjustments that I'm not very good at. And so together we complement each other. And prior to him, I was going to Dr. Mike, my chiropractor that changed my life. Mm-hmm. I would go see him. I have another relationship with Dr. Jarkow. He's in Heartland as well. And like, I was literally just with him 2 weekends ago at a convention. We had lunch together. Like, as chiropractors in the community, you would think that we are competitive, but if you find the right ones, we actually all just work together, and we love one another, and we love on each other. And it's just, I was seeing them, but now I get adjusted like twice a week by Dr. Joel. Thank you. Because that's the best part. Just got adjusted yesterday, got adjusted on Monday, try to keep it around that frequency.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's nice. What are your thoughts on the medical community? Mm-hmm. Because my experience is you hear cortisone a lot, mm-hmm. These shots are being put in. Just what are your thoughts on the big, hospitals and their approach to what you're doing and how that...
I feel like we're
I know
topic here.
You're like, there's going to be a sniper or something.
I have some very strong opinions.
I know. Well,
I respectfully, there's a time and place for everything. So there's a time and place for all medications. There's a time and place for people seeking out alternative care. There's a time and place to go to an acupuncturist. I see an acupuncturist once a week. I do massage. I do shockwave therapy, which is technically a modality that chiropractors can practice. It's like, I do these other things outside of chiropractic because I value them. Can I say that I go to a medical doctor for an annual physical or checkup and get all the things that you're supposed to get? No, I don't, because my body functions at a level that is even better than it did when I did do those things as a child. And so now that I've kind of moved into this very alternative space, the power that made the body heals the body is my philosophy towards it all. And if you can try to self-heal and be a self-sustaining creature by eating right, moving right, getting the type of intersegmental joint motion that you need that feeds your entire body, why do you need to go do these mm-hmm. things? I wish, and I think that there is a strong movement towards a little bit more unity within our professions. I was actually just at a conference 2 weeks ago that I was with Dr. Jarko at, and we had 5 different speakers, and every single one of them was an MD. Oh. So then they were all pumped up to be talking to a room full of chiropractors. So there are ones out there that are willing to work with you and not against you. And to them, I am all for it.
Mm-hmm.
I want to work with them. I want to be on their side. That's the type of unity I want. As it is right now, there's a long way we need to go, but I think there is a positive shift happening, and people are waking up a little bit.
Yeah.
I think that's it. A lot of people are numb to.
Yeah.
Yes.
The chiropractor's like the black sheep of the medical community.
Right.
It's starting to not be.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, I even have some patients, which in school they told us this would happen, and I believed it. But it's one thing to believe it and then to experience it. There's people who literally use me as their primary. They refuse to go to a medical doctor. So they come to me with any and all questions and look for me for that guidance. And it's awesome, because then I can just open their mind to different possibilities. And what they do with that information is on them, but I can at least help them in that way. Mm-hmm. So it's exciting.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that.
I know. She's your people.
I'm saying, I too don't go to the doctor.
Nor do you send your children to the
Or my
doctor
kids.
when you should.
I understand.
They're doing fine.
They're fine. They heal. Self-heal.
Self-sustaining creatures. Hey,
Yeah.
can I ask you what controls your entire body?
Oh, I know. I need to know the answer, because isn't this the answer? What controls your entire body? Is it the... I don't know.
Oh,
Try. Is it your heart? Is it your lungs? What is it? If I turned off one thing right now and you could not survive.
I mean, aren't there many things that can kind of... Brain?
think so. I would say brain.
Correct.
Brain.
It's your central nervous system.
Okay.
Because you could have answered heart, right?
Yeah.
You turn off your heart, you're not going to make it. What controls the heart?
Your brain.
Your brain.
Yeah.
Everything goes back to the central nervous system, and what protects your central nervous system? Your bones.
Your bones, yeah.
Yeah, they're your shield of armor. And so if you are looking at different ailments and things and thinking outside the box a little bit, and I don't mean to get preachy here, but like if you start to think about different cancers and different ailments and different organs shutting down, what are controlling those cancers and organs and things, I am not saying that it's always going to be this answer, but a large part of it is what is feeding that communication. And if there is an interrupt between your brain and what is actually feeding, maybe it's your thyroid, right? And then all of a sudden years down the road you have calcification of your thyroid. What if your brain was trying to communicate with your thyroid the entire time, but it had a bone out of place physically putting pressure on a nerve, but you couldn't feel that pressure, and so therefore the communication loop is interrupted. And so now the thyroid is left to go AWOL its entire life, and so no wonder it's going to develop calcification down the road. And that's where you get into pediatric chiropractic. What is the importance of it? You do not have to have a colicky baby to take them to a chiropractor. You should be taking them to a chiropractor just for a general checkup to make sure that their nervous system is able to communicate with the entirety of their body properly from the get-go, so that they don't develop these ailments down the road, or they are less likely so. And that's where I come from.
I mean, you're preaching to the
That,
choir.
I know. I believe that so much.
And again, I'm a roofer, so like when you get me talking medical, let's preface
back.
I put shingles on most of my life, so but I feel like my wife Lindsay has had a long history of struggling with different types of headaches or migraines and neck pains, back, all sorts of things in the medical community. And though I think they were trying their best to provide good care, but it pretty much led to frustration and disappointment pretty consistently. But they're looking at the brain. So this is my thought. I feel like the science relative to the brain has a long way to go, because it's just so complex and mysterious.
There's so much
and
we don't
there's so
understand.
much we don't know. It's but they have to act like they do, because that's what they are, doctors. And even though they might just be kind of guessing, and then to your point, I feel like the way you explain it at least just makes perfect sense of how the bones are the shield, and your body's supposed to be working in harmony with,
Right.
and so we might not need to understand what's going on in the brain, just get the body, the things that we do understand, the physics of how the body's supposed to work together.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, the amount of times that, and that's where, as chiropractors, we can get in trouble if we say, ooh, we can cure different ailments. We cannot market that because then our license is at risk. So we can only say we see patients with that end up clearing up. So whether it's eczema or anxiety or IBS, IBD, maybe it's, they have urinary incontinence, and it's like so many ailments that have been an MD will look at it, they'll prescribe a medication because that is what they are trained to do, and that is, you have X, let's cover up X with Band-Aid. Mm-hmm. That's all it is. Mm-hmm. But if you take that Band-Aid off, what is actually still causing X? And if you take that medication away, is X still there? And if it is, why is it there? Mm-hmm. And so that's also where, we hear, even with me in the 2 years I've been open here, 4 years I've been in practice, it's, these patients come in and they're like, I didn't even tell you about this, but I no longer have this. And
great.
Or they'll start taking themselves off of medications because they're like, I actually don't need that anymore, and I don't know why I don't need that. And I'm always like,
victory.
That's amazing. Victory.
That's very nice. I never told you to get off that medication, though. Just remember that.
Yeah, that was your decision, not Dr. Healey's.
I'm so glad that you are, though. Yeah.
Who knew we could talk chiropractic for hours?
She's like a magician.
She is. She is. Well, thanks for taking time and sharing your story with us. And we're big fans of this contracting company. What does it have to do with chiropractic work? Well, a lot, actually, because we have guys out there working every day. Their bodies are taking a pounding, so it's great to have a relationship with somebody who cares about us as a team, but just being small businesses connected together in their community, it's fascinating. Yeah. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you so much for taking some time with us.
Wealth
Thank
of
you
knowledge.
for inviting me.
Yes.
Very, very well spoken, and I'm like, it's just when she's talking to you, it's just like, she's smart.
She's smart.
I know, she's
she's
so
real
smart.
smart. I should do less talking.
I know,
She should do
that's
more.
why I'm
That's my vibe.
Right? She sounds smart. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for listening.
Have a great day.
Bye.